This is the LGS podcast, chatting all things skateboarding with Jason Emery from Let's Go Skate. Hello everyone, welcome to the second episode of the LGS podcast. I'm excited to have Ricardo here with me today. Now, I don't know Ricardo too much. I did meet him in London not too long ago, but he offered to come on here, so I'm super hyped about that. Brief introduction to Ricardo. He's a founding director of Skateboard England, which is now Skateboard GB. We'll get into all of that. He now teaches the coaches. He's taught over 200 coaches, people to get their SGB qualification. And he also does a ton of different events for Brighton and Hove City Council, including a mental health intervention referral program, which we will touch on. But let's just get a hello from Ricardo.
Hey, hello everyone. I see you. Good morning.
Good. It is morning. Yeah, I should say that. What day is it today? We're recording this Friday, 25th of February. So I need to learn a little bit about you, Ricardo, a bit of your backstory, give people context to you. So where is it you're originally from?
So I was originally born in a place called Guernica. A lot of people know that from the Picasso painting. The place that got bombed by the Spanish nationalists. It's probably the most famous Picasso painting that's out. So it's the old capital of the Basque Country in northern Spain. So I originate from there. My mum's from Bilbao, a lot of people might know. My dad's from England, so I was born over there. So I'm a mixture of Essex boy and Basque national. Cool. So I speak some Basque.
When did you come out? Is that a Basque skateboard behind you?
Yeah, it says skate or die in Basque on it.
Ah, cool.
Skate at a hill.
When did you come over to Essex? What age?
I was a kid. I was a baby. I was young. There was quite a lot of there's quite a lot of issues over there when I was younger to do with bombs going off and what have you. So my parents brought me over here, but then in my entire life, I've spent every summer over there just speaking Spanish and Basque with all the locals. So loads of mates out there. Everyone knows me in my town and my family. I lived out there for a year by myself. I still go all the time. My parents live there. My mates run a surf shop there and a skate shop. Got their own little skate bar at the back of the shop. So skateboard is very big in Basque Country. It's got a massive scene. So mixture of the two. The head's my British accent.
Cool, but wow. You do have the British accent. So when is it you actually started skateboarding? What made you want to start?
I was at secondary school in Essex. And I think it was just that period in the late 80s where it was quite cool. When I came home from school, all my mates went to another school, but they all skated. So it was just neighbour after neighbour after neighbour after neighbour that all had a board. So we all just used to skate together, just skating curbs, just skating pavements basically. There was no skate parks really in those days particularly. And then as we got a bit older, we started going to Romford Skateparks, the old Rom. So that was our local, which is still obviously standing just about. So just because it's that era really of it was sort of the cool thing to do, and then the more I did it, the more I liked it. And then in those days, all the shops were shut on Sundays, so you could go and skate the town, and it was yours. It didn't get kicked off with security. You could just rinse it.
The street skateboarding. So you did start as a teenager. Obviously, you've carried on with it. Did your friends carry on with it? Or is it because people come and go? Were those teenage friends that you first started with? Were they still doing it, or did you end up meeting new people? Or
yeah, totally. So basically, I used to live in a place called Chelmsford in Essex. There's a bit of a crew called Monster Network. And then there's a shop called Hotbox. So they've kind of revived the whole Monster Network, which is kind of my era. So those guys from around about that time that are my age that skated with me, some of those are still skating. They released a YouTube video around Monster Network and all the old footage of it. So it's still kind of there. We're all a bit older. I might be doing it more than most because I'm working in it. So I'm literally in Skateparks all the time. I've just taught now. I've just done a 1-to-1 in my local park, and I've just packed it back here, and here I am.
You can say he's a busy guy. I had to get him in on a Friday when he had a bit of time available, which is fine. I forgot to ask you about your first deck because we made some notes beforehand, and you mentioned about the first deck that you got. So do you want to explain to everyone what deck you got? What's your first deck?
Yeah, well, you probably guessed my age by me explaining this, but it's that kind of classic plastic wheels, massive bubble thing on the back, brake. That probably cost about 20 quid from some dodgy shop in Chelmsford called Bomb and Broken Wenley's at the time. And then I upgraded to a Pacer deck, which was a bit better urethane wheels, started to move. My first proper deck, which was from a bike shop technically called Two Wheeler, was a Vision Psycho Sticks.
Yeah, so I don't really know the brand Vision because I'm probably too young, but I'm aware of it because I listen to the Nine Club podcast and they get people on there and they reference it. Yeah.
Have you not seen the Vision Streetwear logo? You see it around quite a lot.
I probably have and just not.
Yeah, you'll know it.
Yeah, it's not switched onto it. But and then what was your favourite deck ever? Have you had a favourite deck ever, or was that one?
Yeah, definitely. So I think the Powell Peralta film, Public Domain, really got me hyped with skateboarding, and had those kind of first street sections of just people just doing trick after trick of runs. Ray Barbie killing it, just doing a million no complies and what have you. And then when I think of him,
I just think of no complies.
Yeah,
which is cool. So have you got any other bits to say about like how you got into skateboarding or like what?
Yeah, well, I guess I was skating with my mates here, and then I'd go over to the Basque Country, and then I'd skate over there. And then my local town built a really dodgy, super wide half pipe, which is all sort of slats of wood. So you'd go
something dodgy, yeah.
But in the burning sun, but it was actually quite a good round. But I used to skate with those kids. The rest of the kids around the town who didn't so much like skateboarders used to walk around calling me Ray Barbie quite a lot. I'd walk along the street and go Ray Barbie, Ray Barbie.
Really?
So it was kind of stuck. It was kind of stuck. So if I go, all the skaters out there still kind of remember me as kind of nickname Ray Barbie, and that's cool, was the classic deck with the cards being shuffled like that. The Ray Barbie puppet doll with the cards.
Oh, I don't know.
I'll send you a picture.
Cool. Yeah, you should. Yeah, we'll put it in here now. The picture. So so obviously, like, did you ever have any dreams of wanting to be a professional skateboarder or anything like that, or was that just never on the cards? Like, what's anything?
To be honest, not really. I think when I was young, it felt a bit unattainable, really. Like I don't think there was enough. There wasn't really any skate parks around. Skate comps were rare, so it was just more just mates really hang around in on the street.
That's fine. But like, I mean, now, like, obviously we'll get into it all, but obviously you're now working a lot and doing a lot for skateboarding. Was that ever a vision at all though? Like that, like maybe not a professional skateboarder, but did you like the idea of being able to, make money and earn a living off of skateboarding, doing something?
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, like a lot of people, I came and went with skateboarding. I did it to like my early 20s, and I had a bit of a break, and I went traveling for a few years, and I came back and I took it up again. And to be honest, what really got me back into it is moving to Brighton, because Brighton's got such a strong skateboarding scene, and it's so heaped in history with skateboarding, particularly like the level skate park. That's probably that crew, like the old Level Army crew, is probably kind of what really got me back into it.
Let's mention Level quick, because I went Brighton with my missus for a little getaway, and I did check out the Level. It is a good park. It's quite big. Like, when was that made anyway? How old is that?
So me and 5 others designed that park in 2012.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
2012. When did you move to Brighton, though? Whenabouts did you move?
1999.
Okay, so that's a big gap between when you moved there and when you got the Level done. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
since
let's
you go on, Phil.
Yeah, let's just talk about Brighton then. So you moved over Brighton way, and that's what got you a bit more back into skateboarding. What parks did you have there then before the Level? Like, what was the scene like before then?
Those are crusty street spots, crusty as you like. Churchill Square, which just get kicked out in 5 minutes, like shopping centre. I mean, the seafront had a bit of a vibe, like for people skating down there, like the old paddling pool, and then that got filled in, and everyone used to skate flat ground down there.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was the only, to be honest, that was the only park. And then when the Level got done, just before the Level, a park got done in Hove next to Brighton called Hove Lagoon. That was about 2007.
I didn't check that one out, but I was aware there's another one nearby. But I didn't go to that one. But yeah,
to be honest, I wouldn't overly bother. It's one of those parks where it's like a big slab of concrete, where the floor's amazing, but they've just sort of put ramps in place in situ. It's a bit like, I don't know, kind of early 2000s style county park. It wasn't not terrible, but it's also not good. And on that note, me and a guy called Liam from the local indoor skate park, we spent 3 years campaigning to get that park redone, and we're now getting it done. We've already redesigned it and done it, and we're going to put it through planning. And then the council got us to hold off, and they've just attained this huge amount of funding. So now the skate park's moving next door to where it is, but it's going to be 15 times bigger. So we're getting a massive skate park.
Wow.
That's going to be flooded it. We've got the first meeting of redesigning it next week, and it should be built by next year, because the money's got to be spent by 2024. So like Brighton's going to get another huge park by next year, with me and Liam heading up the design bit.
That's amazing. Dude, I did not know that. Is that public knowledge? I mean, I'm not obviously from Brighton, but like,
that's
public
sick. Knowledge.
Sweet.
We ran all the consultations, did all the work, did all the petitioning, spoke to the local councils, and all the process for getting parks, and then just got lucky with a huge amount of money and a plot of land. So.
Wow. I mean, I could chat to you for hours about how you go about doing all of that, because I am going to get guests on to do, but I think in an hour I've got other bits I want to move on to.
Yeah, sure.
So like, other people can share with all that. So obviously I want to touch on, Skateboard England GB or the Brighton work. I guess we're on Brighton right now. I'm trying to go through a timeline of like your history. So what would be best to delve into now? Should we go into the Skateboard England GB stuff, or should we stick with the stuff you're doing with Brighton?
I think the way it went is that so round about 2012 when I did the level, so 2010, I got a 1 year part-time job, which was through Brighton Council, which was to work with that new park at Hovergoon and to work with the users to make it kind of sustainable, so the users down there run their own competitions, look after the park. So it was like in those days it was called sports development. It's a way of working with communities to engage them with, if you want to call skateboarding sport. Yeah. So I did that for a year, and it went super well. So then they funded me for another year. And then, to be honest, that role just went so ridiculously well and grew and grew and grew. And here I am 10 years later, and through that role, 3 other skate parks have been built, and I'm now doing two others, like all locally. And then I built a massive DIY in Lewis next door in 2012.
Dude, I mean,
it's all skills I learned from the council jobs. It all kind of started from there.
That's great. Like I've got I've got all your bullet point lists here of all the stuff you've been doing. So it does sound like you've been busy. So it kick-started from about 2012 then. Is that when you started to really, so that 1 year job?
2010,
where
I got that job, yeah.
Oh, sorry, 2010. So that's when you really started to get work that was helping develop skateboarding. A turning point for you. That's cool.
Yeah.
Let's stick with the Brighton stuff then while we're on Brighton. So let's talk about some of the projects that you've done. So I've got my little notes here. So you did just mention a DIY one, so I'm going to skip to that. Orchestrated DIY projects. Was it Lewes, did you just say?
Yeah, so there's a town nearby called Lewis. Where you might know that York skater Diggs English from Love and Skate.
I'm aware of Diggs. He is absolutely ripping. I've not met him, but wow.
Evan as well. Evan Johnson. You know him?
I don't know.
Stupidly crazy techie skater. But that's all kind of part of the story, because Diggs' dad used to skate the parks that I built, so it's kind of like carried on the timeline a little bit, and now we've got like Diggs and these good skaters in Lewis. So outside of my job, I started up a community group in Lewis called Skate Lewis. I was the chair. And I just got loads of skaters in the room and talked about opportunities about how to get money to enhance like local skate facilities, run some competitions, get some mobile ramps. So I got a grant from the town council to build some mobile stuff. And then come across a competition. It's a national competition called The Stake, which is run by Barclays. And you could put in a bid to get a stake of 100 grand for something you wanted to do for young people. So you had to be young.
Yeah.
Spoke to a local skater, helped that local skater write the bid. We put in a bid. We got 20 grand out of it. And then went to the local council and said, look, I've got 20 grand to build a skate park. I've got nowhere to build it. Help us out. They gave us an old unit. And then to be honest, I was kind of working all over the place. I was trying to orchestrate what was going on as much as possible, but it all kind of started with me. But the other skaters, particularly like Brighton heads, one I was with this morning down the level called Lee Skipperton, helped build, basically orchestrate and manage the build of that park. So it was a DIY park. So all the rubble was source free, shaped free, and then the concrete was poured by the crew, and and floated and what have you by the crew. So we had a big concrete bowl indoors, all done by the locals, built by the locals, DIY, and then the rest all became wood after that. And then it lasted about 6 years. It was called Skate House DIY. And then sadly, the local council in their wisdom decided to knock it down because they were going to build houses. And did they ever build houses? No, it's still a load of rubble sitting there.
Oh, mate.
That was that. But what's good that's come out of it is that Dig's English dad is now building another DIY literally opposite it. It's right opposite it. You can see the rubble from where he's building it. That's been partly funded by Skateboard GB and Habito through me. I got them a few grand for it. The rest is like, nice. I think they raised like 15 grand or so themselves. So I think that's going to be called the Lodge, and that should be open, hopefully, I hear on the grapevine, around about May kind of time. But that's the new built DIY in Lewis, but that'll be all wood. From what I've seen, it's like a massive wooden concrete.
I mean, this is all well exciting stuff going down in Brighton. Compared to where I am, I'm getting these little £100,000 parks popping up. It's better than nothing, but it's still. Yeah, but yeah.
I've got to be honest though, like it's similar down here. There's loads of little tiny satellite parks, you'd call them. Dotted around. The little villages. There's a million of those. The big ones, there's not that many. We've got quite lucky recently with Hove, but
yeah. Cool. So I think we've touched on that bit. I'll just go through my little notes here of all the things you've done. I'll touch on this one quick. So, National Award for Female Skateboarding with Lucy Adams.
That was a shock.
That was a shock, was it? Yeah. Tell me more about that, because I don't know anything. Let's say for people listening, I don't really know too much about what Ricardo's done. So this is completely new for me. It's just in my little notes here. So we'll learn about that. Let's talk about that.
So post Olympics in London, like 2012, there was a pot of money called Sportivate around kind of the Olympic legacy and keeping people active. So between myself at the council, the local youth centre that has an indoor skate park, and then Lucy Adams, we put together a programme where I wrote all the bids, and then Lucy taught all the courses. And then after the course, they could all skate at a girls only night in Brighton called She Shredders, which has been going since we did these courses. So that's around about 2012. So She Shredders has been going, I think, 10 years now, roughly.
Wow.
So, I funded a load of free courses for, I think it was women that were 18 to 25 around the city. We did about 6 or 7. And they were all like full, oversubscribed. Lucy taught them all. And then we got nominated for a national award through the Sportivate funding, like so the whole country who whatever did the best programs. And then we got voted in top 3. So then we got invited to the Houses of Parliament to be given an award. So it's like me and Lucy in the Houses of Parliament with all these Olympic weightlifters and God knows who.
Yeah.
And then we came 3rd. So we got bronze, which wasn't bad, but it was just a bit of a mad experience, like skateboarding, Houses of Parliament. What's going on?
Yeah, no, for sure.
So but that went really well. And nowadays you've got a campaign called This Girl Can, you might have heard of, which is all about getting females into sport.
I don't think I've heard of that one, but I'm fully aware that there is a lot of female skateboarding going on right now, even with what I do as well. But I'm seeing like lots of all girls skate jams and stuff, which is super cool because that wasn't going on when I started.
So I'm currently running sessions every Monday night for girls 12 to 16. They're all free, and I'm running more in April to May for 16 plus.
Let's touch on that because that sounds really cool to me. So you're helping run sessions for girls aged 12 to 16. Did you say? And where's that
at? So that's at a local leisure centre. I've got like a mobile park. So I've got mobile ramps.
You've got your mobile park, and that's all free. I'm guessing that's funded by the council.
Yeah, that side's funded by the council, and the other one is funded by This Girl Can, which is a funding pot through Sport England to get females active.
Great. So if there was a mum, dad, I don't know, or maybe the girl actually themselves listening to this, like how would they go about getting involved in that? If they wanted to come along, like, is that just easy just to turn up and learn to skate or?
No, so you have to, so there's only so many places. So we do 12 places on each course, 2 instructors, 2 places, so 12 places. So you have to register, sign up for it, and then you're in, and then we operate a waiting list if people don't rock up.
Yeah, no, that's fine. yeah, it's still good to see you got your little mobile park going into a leisure centre. Anything else that we should mention with while we're on women's skateboarding?
Female skating. Well, yeah, I mean, so the other one would be in the outdoor parks. I think the main thing to mention, I think, is amazing that I've just seen her this morning. So her name's Sarah. I taught her, like, this is all through my work. And I taught Sarah to skate, or did some lessons with her about 3 years ago. And Sarah is such an advocate for female skating. She's amazing, and she's gone from like couldn't skate, now skates all the time, every week with all the locals. Goes to shoe shredders. She coaches for me. She's now a coach, and now she runs the first. What is it that she works at Brighton Girls, and she teaches like her own club at Brighton Girls. So she's gone from like non-skater to influencing girls, like, massively.
And I guess,
down here.
And you feel pride because you help facilitate that, which is pretty cool.
So
I'll mention my story quick. Like, I just feel like with teenage girls, I remember when I'm 30 now. So when I was a teenager skating, like all the girls would come down the skate park on the Friday night to come watch, but they'll never try it. Which, and that was just normal back then. It wasn't normal for the girls to give it a go. But like now that I think about it, I'm thinking to myself, I bet they wish they could jump in there and do it, but it wasn't normalized, was it? Whereas now it is, and I'm seeing as many girls as boys out most of the time skateboarding. Yeah. It's super cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been such a steep rise. It's gone from literally like a plateau, then it's gone like the engagement. I think particularly over the pandemic, when people didn't have much to do, and people just went, "Oh, let's try skateboarding," and everyone was out on the streets. Did something you could do without getting in trouble over the pandemic, and just this massive rise of girls and just everyone skating.
The pandemic was insane, wasn't it? Because they couldn't do karate, they couldn't do football, like all the gym, all these other things shut down, and everyone was still grabbing a skateboard and going out and skating. Like a lot of people got into it.
A bit of the Sky Brown effect, isn't it, as well, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, when she got her medal, that the next 2 weeks, I had like so many girls coming for lessons with me, and I even did a whole post, the Sky Brown effect, and tagged Sky, and she saw it, which is pretty cool. She shared it on her story. Yeah, the Sky Brown effect. Yeah, good things.
Did all the parents want their kids to be Olympians then for those 2 weeks?
I get it sometimes, but no, like overall, parents are pretty chilled. Like they're realistic, but you do get the some. They want the high expectations, but no, not too many. We'll move on again then. So looking through here, so let's talk about this Go Skate project, Wave Project Surfing. What's that all about?
Cool. So that was another funding pot. It was a funding pot down here called the Innovation Funds through Public Health. So we put in a bid, and it's based on it's a national surfing project called the Wave Project. It's surfing therapy. If you've seen that. Mm-hmm. So it started in Newquay, I think about 10 years ago, and now I think it's like in 8 different places around the UK. So they take young people who are, anxious or low in mood or feeling a little depressed or just having a bit of a hard time, and then teach them to surf for free in a way of building their confidence and their resilience through surfing and being out in nature. And just that whole thing, like when you ride boards, you come off, you try again, and that's the whole kind of confidence building a bit of it, along with people around you who are supportive, like you get in the skate park, where people are generally kind of egging you on. So I looked at their model, went, that's a really good idea. I bet I could do that with skateboarding. So I did the same thing with skateboarding, but did it in an indoor park. So we hired the park, so they've got their own little safe space, and then took 10 young people that are referred on. So it has to be someone that works with them, like a working relationship that knows that they're having a bit of a hard time. So they refer them in and send me some notes. And if they fit the bill, then we get them in. And then I'm running one at the moment. We've done like, 7 or 8 over the years. But it's just phenomenal, honestly. For some of those young people, like they can't even walk in the door. Like the first session, they won't even come in. They go straight back home. And by a second one, coming in, sitting down, watching a bit of skating. Third one, skating. Fourth one, mixing with other people in the skate park, having a chat, skating a bit. And you see that like massive change, like stepping stone for them.
Oh, yeah.
Anxious, much less anxious now, actually enjoying skateboarding, getting something out of it. And you just see like you run the course, and by the end of it, the journey they've gone on just through skateboarding is amazing. And then I started doing sessions last night with the Wave Project. So there's like 50 kids in Brighton that have been referred onto the Wave Project. So those kids are now getting taught skateboarding through me. So they're referred through Wave when they come to me. So it's like a cross referral surfing, skateboarding kind of thing. So it's all about helping young people to build their confidence really through the sport of skating and trying to get them into skate parks and
that sounds so cool. Again, I'm going to ask, like, how's that all funded? Just if people are listening to this wondering, like, oh, I wish we were doing something like that where we are. Like, how does that go about funding wise?
So I mean, initially I wrote it was a public health funding bid that we put in. It was a pilot, so that funded it, that pilot, but yeah, since then it's now funded by the Public Health Department of Brighton Council. But we only do it like 12 weeks a year, so it's minimal. I don't have the money to do it all week. I can do it every week, all year. I'd love to, but currently that money's not there. Equally, I'd like a bit that might support that, and that might well be out there. It's got to find the time to do it.
It does seem like there's going to be more money coming into skateboarding, like funding opportunities and stuff, like especially because with the Olympics and Sky getting a medal, I think things like this will be happening more and more. Like people will hopefully be looking at like what you've done and hoping to replicate that where they live, because like we're both on the same page. Like skateboarding is amazing, it does great things for people. So anything like that which would benefit more and more people giving it a go. I'm just wondering, what would be your advice for someone to ever start anything like that up? Like if anyone wanted to do anything, how would you advise them to like make anything like really cool like that happen?
Okay, I guess you have to get a model, don't you? You have to design a model of how you're going to do it, how that's going to work. It's almost like an intervention for young people. So I mean, to be honest, when I did it, I didn't really have a clue what I was doing. I had a blank bit of paper and I was going, right, how the hell do I do this? So I had a look at the wave. I personally made contact with Child and Mental Health Services, CAMS. I said to them, look, I'm looking to design this mental wellbeing project with young people. Could you offer any support? I managed to get one CAMS worker like interest. And her name's Claire, and Claire helped me sort of put the forms together, referral forms, and get it right. So it's the right information and what have you. And so you've probably got to reach out to other services, like other mental wellbeing services.
So there are services out there which, if you approach with a project idea, they can help facilitate it in ways.
But I mean, potentially, I think in every region of the UK, there's going to be different local funding bids available. I think down here you've got like Sussex Communities Fund, which will fund lots of little things like that, and then you've got the bigger pots through Sport England and Lottery, and which may also do it. I know that the Wave Project, for example, that's funded by the NHS. So the NHS fund surfing therapy. So that's where I'm trying to get. I'm trying to get what's called the Go Skate Project, which is what I run, that model onto, bigger things. And if I can get it on NHS, then everyone's winning.
Yeah, well, you may do, because, I really do think that I mean, even in my time, I can see where skateboarding's going, and like the interest is growing massively, isn't it? So like hopefully you'll be able to get that going like you want.
Yeah, I think that the main thing is with that sort of stuff is that you need local skate parks. If you don't have a good skate park to do this stuff, or you don't have an indoor, then that limits you massively. We don't have.
I don't have an indoor. Yeah, it sucks.
So until we're there, I think we're going to struggle a little bit.
We need more indoors. My whole life, just my closest adrenaline alley is like 40 minutes. It just isn't feasible for me. It sucks. So I'm very passionate to get more indoor ones going, because I'd love to get my own one day. That's my goal. I'm just trying to think, any other like works like that you want to bring up before I move on to the whole Skateboard GB stuff?
What I've done lately around here, I mean,
I think I've gone through my bullet point list, but I think
the other bit which is a really good part of my work, is that I've done a lot of work down here getting the community group going. So more recently, I chaired a few meetings for what used to be called the Brighton and Hove Skateparks Association, like the BHSA, which is kind of the people that use skate parks as a group that can be a voice for the city, basically, to speak to the council or the police or whatever it might be. So you might have seen there's been a bit of a rise of these community groups around the UK: Skate Nottingham, Skate Southampton, Skate Manchester. I know them. So all those guys, Skate Suffolk, like we're all kind of linked in. But I was aware that Brighton had kind of dropped off its group, so I chaired a few meetings. I've got the group all back and constituted. We've got a chair and a bank account. And it's all got going again. So I've been helping them do that. So we're putting in a bid, hopefully, in the next sort of 1 or 2 weeks for a funding pot called Awards for All. I'm not sure if you've heard of that.
I think I have.
But that's a pot where you can get up to, well, potentially up to 10 grand for community kind of work. So we're looking to put on a load of pop-up events around the city, around skateboarding, and then engaging with girls or less represented groups, a more deprived area of the city, and providing some skateboarding stuff and doing a bit of history of Brighton, skateboarding, Pig City, having armies and videos.
Yeah.
Lots of live talks. So we're sort of trying to piece together like a few pop-up events and events. So I mean, setting up community groups like that really opens the doors to so many things with skateboarding, because you can then go for funding bids to do stuff.
Yeah, let's delve into that. What structure have you set this one up as? Is that a charity? Is that something else? Like, what is it?
It's just a constituted community group. So you just need to make sure you'd hold like an AGM, for example. And then you have a voting system of of appointing a chair, a secretary, a treasurer, and then you have a mission statement for the group, and you get all that approved. Get yourself a bank account, and that's already enough that's the bare bones of forming a constituted group. And then from there, then you hold meetings to decide what you're going to do and how you're going to do it, and then you pull in the community to work with you. If you want to go further down the line, then you can start going like forming charities and what have you. That's definitely possible. But
okay, because
that's the easiest.
Yeah, so my knowledge ain't the best, but I've set up as a community interest company, which obviously has some similarities, and I haven't really ever got much funding. But yeah, so if let's say someone's if someone wants to do this, what you've just done basically, they're in their little town and they're interested in doing, because it sounds like what's Skate Nottingham and like these event things, I think they're amazing. We need more of that because councils build a skate park and then they just leave it. And we were chatting about this the other day, like with people like, oh, here's your skate park, leave it. And it's like, well, you need to form that community. You need to get events going on, because then people will build the friendships and you get some amazing connections. So if someone's in a place right now where they've got their skate park and they want to, it's a really good skate park, but not much going on. That's what they would probably go to do then, like what you've just said there, because then you could look to get bids. Like, how much are you applying for? Did you just say on that one?
Well, I think Awards for All, you can get up to 10 grand. So I mean, obviously you have to explain what you're doing, why you're doing it, what's the need for it in your community, sort of demonstrate that, cost it all out, and then see it, and then they might say yes, they might say no. I think Awards for All, you can sort of reapply, so you can tweak your bid and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's Lewis before. Like, I just sat with a mum of a skater. And between me and her, we set up Skate Lewis, and then we got, we had a few meetings, constituted ourselves, got a method statement, got a bank account, and they went to the town council and got a grant within like a couple of months and built some mobile ramps. That was all quite quick. Yeah,
because I mean, that's so good, but I always feel like, I'm learning all of this myself, and I've got better knowledge than most, but most people that are into skateboarding just don't know this kind of stuff. Would you agree with that? Like, they don't understand the politics and learning all these things. So like trying to get that information out there to the right people. So actually you could set up this group and make this happen. Like, Ricardo's done it. Like, it is possible to do. Encouraging more people to do this stuff.
I guess the thing about it is, though, it is a ball ache, because it's a lot of work. You're doing it for free. You've got to put up with a bit of skate park politics sometimes, and you put your head above the water, and then some people might not like what you're doing, or for whatever reason, it can cause some ripples. And you've got to be up for grinding, and councils.
You've got to have the passion there, haven't you?
Funding can be frustrating, it can be annoying. It's all that kind of, you've got to have a bit of resolve and make it happen kind of stuff.
If someone sat here listening to this and they're like, I could be like Ricardo, I've got that drive, like, you would recommend them to go and give that a go for their area?
100%. And if you need any advice for that kind of stuff, just contact Skateboard GB, because they help you out.
Good.
That's part of why they're there. That's part of why those guys are there, to help with all this sort of stuff. That's what I was doing.
For sure. I've got high hopes for Skateboard GB. Like, I think there's a lot of good stuff they can bring to us. It's going to take time, and we'll delve into that. But I reckon this is a good way to tandem into it. So, let's go into what actually Skateboard England. So, like, my knowledge of Skateboard England, I'm just going to share my knowledge quick. I didn't know much about it, but then I found out about the qualification course thing. And I went on it in February 2019 when it was Skateboard England. And I was like, oh, there's like an actual entity that's like actually going to be doing stuff for skateboarding, which is really cool. But I didn't really know much about it, and I don't really know any of its backstory. So when you said in the notes that you was a founding director for Skateboard England, that excited me. So I'm hoping you can shed some light on how that all started, because just for context, like Skateboard England has now become Skateboard GB, and we'll talk about that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But how did Skateboard England actually start and come together?
So, I mean, from my memory, I mean, James, he's still the CEO now. He did a bit of work. I think with Jerome Campbell, I think it was back at the time, looking at trying to set up a governing body for skateboarding, because there was the UK SA like quite a few years ago. Nick Powley was involved with that, with Paul Sylvester and people like that. So I'd always been involved in kind of the conversation about, why is there not someone to like some point to work with to make some things happen in skateboarding. So I mean, James did the legwork really, and then I think it was in 2017 that he pulled it all together. And I remember sitting in the House of Vans, and it was me, Lucy Adams, Nick Powley, Steve Wingy Wilkinson, Jerome Campbell, Paul Regan from Up Your Way, Hull Way.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's how I found out about it, because I know Paul, because Paul's helped me from Hull. Yeah.
So I think we were the board, and then I remember James really well saying, like, this is history here. We all signed this bit of paper, and like, we have formed Skateboard England. And at that point, obviously, like, we're doing everything for free. We've all got expertise in our own kind of areas and skills, but it's like free time, no idea if this is going to work. We'll go anywhere. But all of us in that room are doing it for skateboarding, to do something good for skateboarding. That's why we're there. I just want
to butt in on this bit then. So James was there right from the start, and he was kind of the one that did do the legwork to get you all there together.
I mean, to be fair to James, he's done. I mean, between him and Lucy, they've done ridiculous amounts of legwork, to be honest, over the years.
Okay.
But I mean, we all did. I did years of helping out people build skate parks around the UK, and this advice and phone calls and
of course.
But
I'll interrupt again quick, because as far as I'm aware, I have spoke with James a little bit, but he isn't actually a skateboarder, is he? Like, he doesn't skate, but he's got experience of being able to run these types of entities, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's super good with that stuff. Like all the stuff that I think most skaters would really struggle with around forming something like an NGB, and all the loopholes you've got to jump through, and all the processes you've got to have in place, and then to work with Sport England to get funding. And all that stuff, super good at it, and I'm like hands down to him for doing that sort of stuff, because like it probably wouldn't have happened without him doing all that ball ache, to be honest. But then he just listens to those that are on the board and the results of what people say in the UK for skateboarding, and that's what molds what they do.
For sure.
It's all skater led, the entire thing.
Of course it is. Yeah. So I just wanted to clarify all that, because so he helped get you all together because he understands how to create this infrastructure, and then he does kind of take that step back and let you guys do, because you're the ones that skate. So that's cool and great for me. So that was how Skateboard England was made. Trying to think where I should go with it from here.
Well, can I say one thing? I think we did that right. And then straight after that, it was like so many months after, skateboarding got announced in the Olympics.
So we did it just before the Olympic announcement. Wow. Okay.
Okay. So then that was another big thing that was going to be like, we were going to get pulled into that, undoubtedly. And I think what the impression I got was that when that happened, then people thought that Skateboard England was there because of the Olympics, and that's what we were. Which wasn't the case. We were there trying to help skateboarding, and then the Olympic circus arrived, and we went, oh, okay, this is now.
That's happening. A really important point to make there, actually. Yeah, so you did set up before any idea of Olympics coming. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there was talk of it, but there was no, nothing official, no announcement. So that's kind of how Skateboard GB started, because that was the Olympic wing of Skateboard England to do the Olympic bit. And Skateboard England was still just doing stuff for the UK.
So Skateboard GB was a different entity on the side to Skateboard England, and then they eventually merged.
Yeah. Like I stepped down as director after 4 years. At the point when it merged, I wasn't the director anymore, so I wasn't so involved. But I think it was just a case of like it's a bit bonkers having to run two of these organisations when you could just have one bigger one.
Yeah. I remember when they were getting merged. Yeah. So So it's like, yeah, it's good that they merged them. But what was the aims of Skateboard England? Can you share, like, when you guys all came together, like, what were you hoping to do and achieve? Like, just mention a few of the bits if you can remember.
God, you're testing me now. I'm remembering the mission statement. But I think the main thing was about trying to get like more and better spaces for people to skate, so more skate parks, better skate parks, better built skate parks, you know. And then like opportunities for people to coach and work in skateboarding, so to create kind of that kind of professional edge of skateboarding, where if you want to go into that, then that's an option, and we can help orchestrate that a little bit. But I mean, the main thing, you know, is helping people find skateboarding as a sport, giving them places to do it, having people to help them do it. So, I mean, and then helping, I guess, infrastructure that's already there, like help run competitions and events and stuff like that, or help community groups do that. It's all that kind of background work to help.
That's good.
The seed flourish a bit, I guess.
Yeah. We'll get into the coaching side of things. Do you know how Skateboard England started to offer that qualification? So obviously, I know eventually you're in the picture. We'll get to you, but how did that all start? Do you know, like, how did Skateboard England start giving out qualifications? Like, how did that become a thing?
It started.
Who was doing it at the start, or do you remember?
Yeah. I was a director at the time, and it was a company called SkateSafe at the time.
Yep, I'm aware
of which Denham Hill was part of. So initially, they were delivering like a version of a skateboarding qualification. This was like 2018, something like that, and it was like they were sort of trialing it, like a bit of a pilot. So we had some sort of affiliation with them. And then SkateSafe, from what I understand, the lady that used to run it, she went on Dragon's Den, because I watched the episode, and then she decided to sell emoji cushions and got the money, and then dropped SkateSafe. So the qualification then sort of got passed. From what I understand, the qualification coming back to Skateboard England, and then Skateboard England then started to work with Street Games, who are a UK charity who work with young people in deprived areas to offer them sport and activity. So Street Games helped write the level 1 qualification for coaching skateboarding sessions, which I think maybe the one you did with Denham, 2-day course.
Yeah, so I was with Denham when I got my one. Yeah.
So Denham was like the only person coaching in the UK. So then I came on as a second coach, because I've got a background in teaching courses, so I've got all the qualifications and experience as coach courses.
So you came up. This is still Skateboard England. You came in Skateboard England. Okay, so I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah. So I went to Street Games, spoke to Street Games, and said, look, I could be a coach for this qualification as well. So then I taught all those courses down south, and Denham did all the ones up north, and we kind of split it. And then the pandemic hit. And then that was a good opportunity for us to kind of look at the qualification and improve it, because it did have some issues, and I thought it needed a bit of a rework personally.
Yeah.
So between me and Neil at Skateboard GB at the time, over the pandemic, we spent a lot of time sort of pulling bits out of the old qualification and reworking it and making it a bit more simple, like it flowed a bit better. And then we changed it, so you had one day, which is a load of videos, which I did with Lucy in Brighton around coaching techniques and tips. So like one day online course, and then the second day you do face to face. So it's like a response to the pandemic, so it's less time.
Yeah, because I was aware that that's a change from when I did it, which is fine. Yeah. So because we're getting into this bit now. So I was just you just shared how you got involved, which is what I wanted to get to. So when did you start actually doing the coaching for Skateboard GB? Like, when was that first one? I don't know. Like, how long have you been doing it for now, I guess?
Well, my first course was the old level 1. I'm trying to think what the first course was I taught. I think maybe the first course I taught was in, where the hell was it? I think it might have been in Jersey.
So you did used to teach the one that I done.
Yeah.
And right, so let's just give some context to this. So I did what is called a level 1, but now what's it called now? Sorry,
it's called the Get Rolling Activator Award. It's an activator. Okay. It's not level 1 anymore.
Okay, so even though I don't have that Get Rolling one, they've allowed, what I've got is it's obviously a little bit different, but it's the same. I'm still allowed my coach membership at Skateboard GB.
It's just pretty easy.
It's been tweaked and enhanced thanks to you or whatever. Yeah. So it's now
enhanced. There's more resources available online, that kind of stuff. I mean, it's one of those things that's going to evolve, isn't it? Like, it's been worked on every year.
Of course. So this is the Get Rolling Award, which is now what, if anyone wants to be a skate coach in the country, this is where you'd want to go to do that. And Ricardo's your man that would actually be helping you get it. So as I said in the introduction, you've now done like over 200 people have gone through you to get that qualification, haven't they? Why is it important for someone to come and get this qualification? Like if they want to start teaching skateboarding, why should they be coming to you? And because it does cost a bit of money, why should they be coming to you and getting this, would you say?
Sure. So I think the thing is, right, with skateboarding, people you learn off each other, don't you, in skate parks, and that's just a natural thing, and people help each other out with tricks, and I think that's always going to be the way it will be with skateboarding. That's the way it probably should be, and that's a great thing about what it is. I think that the thing about the qualification is that I'm not, if I'm coaching you a course, I'm not really there to teach you particularly how to do anything with skateboarding. I'm there to try and give you some ideas about if you're going to run sessions. It's one about setting yourself up kind of legally and all the like insurance bits and the safeguarding bits and the first aid bits and risk assessments and the slightly boring side of it, just to protect you and everyone you're doing it. But it's about, I've been doing this for like 10 years coaching. If you've got a group of 12 young people in front of you, and one of them's like a bit of a show off, one's a bit disengaged, one's really shy, and you know how to work a group and keep them safe and keep them all engaged and everyone learns something, and you can do that at the same time, so all your sessions run really well, and you've got loads of tricks in the bag of how to do it. So the course it's almost about learning how to be a teacher, how to organize what you're thinking to do, different styles of teaching, that kind of like, am I barking orders or am I just kind of moving them to it, or all that kind of stuff, and context around that. And even running a course, I'll get like 16 people on the course, and when they're practicing teaching, they're all just sharing ideas, they're learning off each other, and I learn stuff off their courses. So, everyone also generally has a really good time, gets something out of it, and it sets you up. You'll get insured for a year by Skateboard GB, which is part of your sign up. You get all the resources you'll need for type of paperwork kind of stuff, and then you've got them as support. So it's kind of like setting you up, and you can kind of go and do your own thing and do it as you kind of want to do it, really, like in your own style.
The really important thing I took from that, and it's where I continue to improve as a coach, is it's not the actual techniques of how do you kick turn, how do you drop in. It's more about the actual teaching styles and how to engage with the people, because that's the type of thing that I think most skateboarders probably. I know people that are really good at skateboarding, but they might struggle to be able to handle a group, isn't it? So they know how to kick them, but so let's learning all those little nuances and all those little bits behind the scenes that you might not be aware of.
That's totally it. Like I think the last course I taught, there was at least 6 or 7, possibly 8 school teachers on it, and they are not brilliant. They are not brilliant skateboarders, but they can stand, push, turn, stop, like the basics.
Yeah, so
that's all they can teach, but they are great at teaching. And there's other skaters that come on who are sick at skateboarding, but need to get a bit of experience learning how to teach. And it's that kind of
for sure. Isn't it? So that leads me into this quite well. So this is like a level 1, isn't it? Is it a level 1 qualification?
It's not anymore. No, it's called an activator.
Okay.
Award. So basically, with activator awards, so the level 1, when you did that course, there would have been a lot more waiting around, and I have to sort of sit and assess you and make sure you're like formally good enough to do it, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Activator award, it's less formal. I mean, we're still there making sure that you're safe to go out there and coach.
Yeah.
But there's less stringent paperwork assessment, so it takes a little bit of pressure off, and it runs smoother, and it's just a different format. Same thing, different format, less paperwork.
Okay.
Less cost.
But because I know people have had issues with the fact that maybe a school teacher is coming and learning how to coach, but this is just the bare bones foundation, isn't it? Like, as far as I'm aware, I don't know how much you know or can reveal, but like Skateboard GB will be looking to do higher levels or stuff or whatever for like more experience, to be able to teach more experienced skateboarding. Is that correct?
Yeah. So Lucy Adams, who's what progression lead for Skateboard GB, she's working on that piece of work now. So I mean, it's kind of like, if you want to coach skateboarding, you don't have to have this qualification. You can still set up your own company and go and teach it. It's not essential to to have
Okay,
it.
yeah.
There are some schools out there that have been going for a long time, and those people have been coaching for years, and they're great coaches. They don't necessarily need this bit of paper, but if you're kind of new to it, then it's going to really give you a really strong foundation to get out there and teach. And then, yeah, it's the basics. It's literally basic background skills. And if you're good enough, extremely basic ramp skills. But if you want to teach more than that, that's totally possible because you have all the teaching techniques around it anyhow. So, but those school teachers will go back and teach what they can do, because everything we teach in that course is about, if you can't demonstrate something safely, then there's no way that you're going to be able to probably teach them safely, because they won't understand what you're trying to teach them. So you've got to have some sort of ability with skateboarding, or there's no way you can go and teach them to trade flip if you've got no idea what it is.
Yeah, but what with my lessons, obviously for people listening, like I mainly do private lessons with people, but like I want to say 90, maybe 80-90% of the kids that I'm teaching aren't doing the craziest things on a skateboard. So like it is just teaching them the basics, isn't it? So I just want to see more people actually I want to see more coaches involved, like, because there's so many kids that want to learn, like, and there's only so many coaches out there. We need more coaches. And I think it's okay for it's okay for a teacher at school to go and learn all this with you, because they can still offer what they could offer is going to be good enough for 80-90% of the kids, just learning to push, ride, kick down. And then, then they can maybe find a more experienced coach, or they can just go to a skate park on their own and figure things out, just like me and you probably did, without any.
But I think you hit the nail on the head. That's exactly it. You teach them the beginnings, and then they can go to a skate park on their own and then watch everyone else and pick it up from there, because they've got all those beginnings.
Yeah. Exactly. And so I try and tell people, like, just go on the Skateboard GB course. Like, I can list off like 5-6 people right now. I'm like, just go get that qualification. Because once you've got it, it can open up so many opportunities for you. And like, if I ever need someone to come help me out, like, you'd be, I could get them in. So, it's I'm trying to think what puts people off. I don't think it's necessarily cost. Well, how much is it now to get that? Is it a couple £100?
I can't remember. It's like 200 something, is it?
It's
like that?
I mean, you've got to spend a bit of money, but it's not, it's not crazy amount. I'm not talking thousands. And then they do them all over the country, though, don't they? Isn't there some? Are you doing some right now, February?
So last year I taught all those 100 people, and then I taught another 5 tutors to be me. So now they've kind of got other people coaching it.
You've now trained. So you've trained the coaches that are now going to coach the coaches. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
So so you've got up in Flow and up in Greystone, they teach their own now, and then Spit and Sawdust in Cardiff teach their own.
Did you do Sam? Is it Sam from Skate Academy?
Yeah, Sam. Yeah.
He gave me a heads up about that. I was like, oh, really cool. So the idea of that, I guess, was to spread the wings out, because you can't be going up to Scotland, I guess, to deliver these courses in Wales and everything.
To be honest, it's pretty rad. I get to just go to other parks, meet other skaters, and have a lot of fun. So I'm not moaning, but it is a lot of travelling, so it makes more sense if you've got people regionally kind of covering. So
there's now other people are now in a position like you were, that are going to be able to help deliver this course, which means that Skateboard GB are going to be able to offer a lot more opportunities for people to go and do it. Because like, it's getting to the place, like, I know people that maybe don't want to drive all the way to London or whatever. So, but there's going to be, as far as I'm aware, then there's going to be a lot more opportunities for people to get this qualification going forward. Yeah.
Do you know what though? You know what I was saying about needing more skate parks? I think something, I was chatting to another skate coach the other day, and he was saying, like, he teaches in London a lot, and he was saying, like, I think he mentioned Clapham. Sometimes like on a Saturday morning, you go to Clapham. There's so many skate coaches there that it's ridiculous, from different places. It's kind of like they're not taking over the skate park, and that's almost.
Let's talk about this. Yeah, I was actually discussing this with ABC and Four Wheel Plank Club last weekend when we was at Pioneer. And people like, I get to the point. I mean, for me, because I'm like in Cambridgeshire, like there's only me and Shredder Skate School, who's the other side of Cambridgeshire. So I don't have any people like on my turf or whatever. But yeah, like I see the London ones, and I see so many skate schools operating at these different skate parks. And I'm just wondering, like, how does that even work? Like, because I'm always conscious of making sure I don't want to take over the skate park too much, because I've got little parks. I try and teach in the mornings, but it's quiet. But that's
the thing. Like in Brighton, I know all the locals. I know all the locals know me. I'll go in the morning, so I'm mates with them all. They know I stay out of the way. I'm respectful, that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, I guess the thing is that you kind of want to get to know the locals. If there's a local skate shop, you should probably be courteous to speak to them about you're going to start rocking up and teaching in the park that's opposite where they are or something like that. Like maybe give them a heads up. And I think like from a skateboard GB point of view, it's probably quite like if you actually went to the local authority and told them that you're planning to do this in the local park, rather than just rocking up and doing it. So there's a bit of like kind of like unwritten etiquette around.
And well, this is just one of the many things I'm hoping Skateboard GB can help facilitate. So like for me, like my backstory, I've been teaching 6 years. I didn't have a clue. I was 24. Like I didn't know you're going to get permission to teach at these skate parks. Like no one ever informed me. And obviously, as I've got experience, I now do have contacts with the councils and have my permission. And one of my Cambourne near me, they haven't granted me permission. They've got to have a meeting, so I did a whole social media thing about that, trying to make councillors realise that maybe you should grant us access to do these things because we're good role models at skate parks. But like I'll mention this quick as well. I'm pretty sure I think it was you coached a guy called Danny who's now set up Basingstoke. Do you know him? Do you remember?
Okay. Yeah.
Have you seen Basingstoke online? Yeah. But like. I'll just mention this quick. Like he saw what I was doing because I think he's from where I am originally. So we have mutual friends, and he's now moved to Basingstoke. But he asked me a lot of questions, like how do you become like he was just really curious, and I did. I gave him my time. I answered all his questions, and I'm really proud because he actually took that information. He went on the course with you, and he's absolutely killing it now. And he's got his little skate park in Basingstoke, and he is like fully like teaching all the time, like pumping the social media, like, and it's just, I guess I'm sharing this story because I want someone to realize like his turnaround was super quick. Like it was literally last summer when he was like asking me all the questions, and now he's like, I'm assuming he's like full-time teaching. Like that just shows that the interest is there. Like you can, if you've got a local skate park and you think you could be you think you can teach these people, like get on this get on this course, get this qualification, like you could be up and running before you know it, because I've seen it with Danny. Like he's doing some good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, what you've said is exactly right. There's a real appetite for it. I mean, from age kind of 5 up, when they're like old enough to start listening to some basic instructions, and I've got some kind of attention span, you can definitely start teaching them. And some 5-year-olds are just rad anyway. So
yeah, I had a 5-year-old last night. Actually, it was pretty cool.
There's a whole generation out there, but do be careful because then your skate park will become so swarmed up. Brighton, it's such a big for skateboarding anyway. Like any skate park, it's so busy all the time. Like I think about like a lot of people that can't skate find it so intimidating to even walk into the parks. So
like one of my visions is like how we always get roundabouts and swings being built every time they build housing developments. Like, can't we get a little 50 grand skate park in there just for the little kids to learn the basics on? And then I don't know, it's just my vision. Like every area should have their main, like the level, your main one, but then you should have all these little ones dotted around, and then like you can go and practice and have fun on the little ones, and then when you're ready, boom, you come to the main one. Like that's kind of just one of my visions I'm trying to share with my councils, like, because like you say, it's so intimidating, and especially now we've got these like they want to take a little 6-year-old on a scooter, just have a little ride around, and you don't want them in the way of the main park.
No. So I don't know if you're aware, but if you go on Skateboard GB's website, there's a facilities guide. I helped author it with Ian Borden and Russ from Mavericks and a few others. They did. I know Russ.
Yeah.
But so if you type in Skateboard GB facilities, you'll go to facilities guide, you download the document, and it's a really, really detailed document of how to build skate parks, like do it well, like the process of doing it, so you don't muck it up as a local authority. The right people to do it with. It explains everything about all the terminology around skate parks, and transition, manual pads, whatever. It's from like A to Z of how to build a park in detail.
I might have seen it.
How to get the funding.
Good resource.
Just trying to push that as much as possible to local authorities or community groups that want to build parks. Like look at that, read that model, get Skateboard GB to help you. You might well be able to get a local park. It's just knowing how to tick the right boxes, do things in the right order. Like this is how I've been so successful getting parks down here, because I kind of know how to do it, and the talk, and where to go for the bids, and how to get the money. There's some timing involved, there's some luck involved, but I mean, skate parks are on the rise. You just need more people, advocates, like pushing for it to make it happen.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get a counsellor on that did one of my parks and get him to talk through the whole process, like from an actual counsellor's perspective, because I think that'll be really informative for people. I could chat to you about this stuff all day, but I think we're pretty much getting near the hour now. And I'm really happy with how it's went. I'm pretty sure I've covered all these bits on here. We've dived into all the topics I wanted to discuss, so it's been a really good chat. Is there any other little bits of stuff you'd like to mention, or like, I don't know, like shout outs or anything that you think would be worth putting in here?
Well, I also have to shout out the local crew. Big up River Skateboards, community shop. Big up Brighton Skateparks Association. Yeah, hopefully, if people want to come to Brighton, we're looking to do like a week of skateboarding stuff on Go Skate Day week. So that'll be a whole host of like exhibitions, film showings, live talks, pop-up events. I think we're going to do like a girls' day. So keep an eye out for that down here. And then, I mean, hopefully, if you want to do your coaching qualification, I might see you at some point around the country this year. Get on it.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see someone who'll decide to go do it. Yeah, so I'm just going to start to wrap this one up. So hopefully, if you've been listening to this, you've enjoyed it. Any constructive criticism or anything like that, or just if you liked it, let me know, because I'll appreciate that. Hoping to do quite a lot of these. It's been really good to get Ricardo on. I've got lots of good people coming on in the future as well. So thank you for coming here today, Ricardo. And that's the end of this episode. Yeah.
Right. Go. Nice one, man. Easy.